Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys all a moment to go ahead and get your backgrounds painted. So all black, don't forget your sides. I'm gonna go ahead and get my sides real quick. Y'all don't worry if you can't keep up with me. I am a fast painter for two reasons. You know, I've just been painting for a long time, but also I try to go really quick so that I can then give my attention to the screen and pay attention to you guys and answer any questions. So the cool thing about having these classes online is that you can really just stop and work on whatever you want to work on whenever you want, and just, you know, kind of look up every once in a while so you can see what I'm teaching, and then just continue on your merry way however you want. And then later you can always ask me questions, or like I said, send me messages. I'm all about those messages. Okay, I'm just gonna got one more side to go. Okay, so you really want to do that little dry brushing technique I was telling you about. And then you can kind of pick your canvas up and kind of shine it, you know, towards a light, and you'll be able to see how dry your canvas is. And you'll notice when you take your brush and you just kind of wipe it on over, it dries it really quick. You can see the sheen of the canvas changes. So that's pretty cool. You guys might hear my kids in the background. They just got home. We might get an appearance. That'll be fun. They love to paint. Imagine that, right? Okay, I'm gonna put this black paint over here real quick. Just get it out of my way. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm gonna scroll across the top here and check on you guys, make sure everybody's doing okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're doing okay, and a thumbs down if you're having issues, or maybe make a sad face. Cool. All right, Janine, to see everybody. Cool. All right. Well, it looks like everybody is doing okay. No one's freaking out. That's great. We're off to a good start. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I think I am, my background is pretty dry here. My sides are not, but I can kind of lightly touch this and I can see that it's just a little bit tacky. I'm just going to give it a minute here. When you're done with your big brush, go ahead and just drop it in the water. You can swirl it around if you want to. It'll make your paint water black, or you can just drop it right in here and just forget about it for the rest of the night. We're not going to use it at all. And if at any time you notice you have a brush sitting out that's already been used, go ahead and just put it in the water, okay? Let it be in the water. That way the paint won't dry out, and we can keep a brush alive a little bit longer, okay? That's really good for your brushes, and we don't want to let any paint dry. So, oh, let's see, I'm trying to get everybody in the meeting. Okay, there we go. I got people joining. That's good. I think that's the way it's going to be tonight, is we're just going to have people that come in and come out and all kinds of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. All right, you guys. So those backgrounds should be pretty much done. If they're not, you might want to pick up the pace a little bit, kind of get it going, okay? I'm going to get going on this first part, okay? So what we're going to do is we are actually going to start with our detail brush, okay? This isn't something that we've ever really done before, at least on an online class. So we're gonna start with our detail brush. So everybody should have a small brush, a nice small brush, and it should have a pretty good point on it. If it doesn't, this is one of those moments where you can dip it in the water just a little bit and use your fingers to kind of pull it out so that it is a nice point. Make sure there's no water on this metal part though. You do not want to be going in for this moment and have a water droplet drip down your brush onto your canvas. So anyway, okay, so we're gonna take our detail brush and we're actually gonna dip it just into a little bit of white paint, okay? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your canvas and just kind of look at it for a minute, and I want you to decide where and how big you're gonna want the center part of your painting to be. So the part where you're gonna have words. Okay, now I will tell you, It is so easy to fill this canvas up so quick. Okay, so tread lightly. But decide, you know, how big do you want this circle to be, or this oval? Are you just doing an initial? Maybe you want a smaller circle, or are you doing a long verse? You might need a lot more space than what I have allotted here. So decide what you want that to be, whether it's a circle or a square even, or an oval, whatever it's gonna be, decide on that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and just mark out that space. If you're worried that your background is too wet, this part doesn't really require a lot of paint, so you won't smear too much, but you can like do one of these numbers where you just kind of wave it back and forth or something like that, okay? But anyway, I've got my detail brush and I've got a little dot of white paint. And I'm gonna kind of just look at my canvas and I'm gonna try to find the middle, okay? The middle, and I'm gonna go down, gosh, maybe about, I don't know, 1, 2.5 inches or 2 inches or so. I'm gonna give myself a dot, okay? Just a dot. Now, what you can do is if you are a very precise person, you can take a paintbrush and you can measure with your brush the space from the dot to the top of the canvas, okay? And then you can mark it with your fingers, take it down here to the bottom of your canvas, and then look at where that spot sits, and then you can go ahead and give yourself a mark right there. You can also just eyeball it and just see kind of where that place holds, okay? So you're gonna wanna do that on the top and on the bottom, and then you're gonna wanna do it on either side as well. Now, I don't necessarily recommend measuring like we just did because your sides are a different width than it is the height. So you might wanna come in maybe half the distance or so, maybe an inch or so. I might go in like 1.5 inches, I don't know, something like that. And then I'll do my little measuring trick here. Go to the other side and put my dot. So now I have 4 dots, okay? And that's kind of mapping out my space, okay? So you should have 4 dots mapping out your space, okay? 1 at the top, sides, bottom, all around. Now what you can do is you can take your detail brush and go in between and give out some more dots. You're just gonna kind of flesh out this area. So I'm gonna go in between all my areas here. I'm gonna give it another dot, okay? So it's kind of like you're building a clock almost, right? You're just kind of going all the way around, okay? Then go around again, okay? Keep filling it out. Just give it a little dot all the way around. Okay? So you're left with something kind of like this. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see. Okay? You don't need to go much more than this. This is enough to keep us away from this area, okay? So now we're just gonna go ahead and drop this brush in the water. We're not really gonna need it for a while, okay? All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start working on our flowers here, okay? We're gonna start with our biggest flowers, the ones we have like a couple in each corner here, roughly. So if you're gonna be doing a different color scheme than what I'm teaching, you wanna go ahead and maybe mix that color that your main flowers are gonna be. Most of the flowers are 2 or 3 different colors. So if you're doing a purple flower, you might want to mix up like a really pretty lavender and then like a darker purple and then maybe, you know, a reddish purple. Or if you're going to be doing red flowers, you might want to mix up a nice dark red and a light red. You know, you just kind of want a little bit of a range, okay? But if you're doing this color scheme, I'm going to be using my larger brush out of the, not the background brush, but out of all 3 brushes you have. You should have about a size 7. It's a 7 round, okay? I'm gonna be using that for my bigger flowers. So and how I make this color is, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my yellow and my red are right next to each other on the palette, which is super convenient. Red is super powerful. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm just gonna take a little bunch of it, like a little drop like that, bring it over to my yellow, okay, and kind of start mixing it in. Before I get too mixed, I'm going to grab some white and bring it right on over, okay? White is a very important part of this color. Now I can just keep kind of pulling in yellow, then I can pull in a little bit more red, and I'm just going to kind of mix until I see a color that I like, and that is the key here. Mix a color that you enjoy looking at, okay? If you want your color to be more on the corally red side, then just keep adding more red. If you want it more on the like tropical side, you know, then add more yellow. The goal really is just to mix a color that you like, that you're gonna enjoy looking at, okay? You can see how much paint I've mixed. It's a pretty good amount here. We're gonna need this color a lot. So don't mix a tiny little bit. Go ahead and just be very generous. Mix a lot, okay? Like a good amount there. I'm gonna add a little bit more white. Okay, now the white is really helpful in all of our color mixing when we're painting on a black background because it helps the paint become more opaque and chalky-like, okay? That's what we want. We want super opaque, chalky-like paint, okay? All right, so here we go. So let's see, I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna start with my top corner right up in here, okay? So let me move this a little bit closer. I'm working in smaller quarters than I usually do, so I'm trying to figure everything out here. Let me move this back. Okay, so I'm gonna start right up here in the corner. What I'm gonna do is decide kind of where this first flower is gonna be. Now it's pretty central to this area here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my brush. I'm just gonna make a circle, okay? Just a small dot, okay? Then I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna make 4 large petals. Okay, I'm gonna make one, they're kind of like square rounds, squarish rounded petals. So I'm gonna draw one, it's kind of a triangular shape like so. And then I like to go opposite first. So I go opposite, and then I can fit one on either side as well. Okay. Then I just kind of take a back look and look at it and decide if I like that shape, if I like those at all. And then I just fill them in. And you can fill them in, you can make them thicker if you want to, more rounded if you want to. If you don't like the shape of a flower, you don't have to use it. You can use more rounded petals, whatever you want to do. But notice as I'm filling it in, I'm using my brush for its shape. So I pull it right down in here and I pull it out to the edge. And see how the brushes or the bristles just kind of spread and they smear the paint right where we want it to go. So going in the direction of my petals, the way that they're growing, okay? Giving it some nice length here. Okay, so let's see, when you're done, you'll have something kind of like that, okay? Something kind of like that. All right, now I'm gonna move right across over to the other side of my canvas now. Let me bring you in a little bit here. I'm gonna use the same color of paint. Now I'm gonna use my brush a little bit differently, okay? Now this flower is, I'll show you the one that we're gonna do, so you have an idea. It's this one right in here. And that reminds me, you guys, if you have your phone next to you or another computer or iPad or something, I would recommend pulling this painting up from our Facebook page and looking at it as I teach, because I don't always have it in the frame. And if for some reason the internet skips or something like that and you don't quite hear what I say, you can at least see where I am and you can see kind of where we're going next and what we're teaching. So anyway. Don't worry too, as you can see on my canvas, I've smeared already some white paint from sticking my arm in here. Don't worry if that happens to you either. It's very easy to fix a black background. That's the best thing about a black background, okay? Okay, anyway. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my brush, same color, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna draw kind of a larger circle there, okay? Now, before you draw your circle, you're gonna want space for a petal to come out over here. So don't get it too close to this edge. You want space here, okay? Now, the cool thing about this brush is when you lay it down and drag it, it makes the perfect petal shape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right at the top here, and I'm gonna go about as high as I want, as long as you want your petal to be, and I'm gonna press down and pull, okay? And that makes a nice shape for you. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go, I like to go opposite. So I'm gonna go on the other side. Then I'm gonna go on my sides, like so. And once I have those, it kind of helps me keep all of my petals the same length. Because I have a tendency, if I just start here and I just go around, by the time I get back, my petals are like half the size or double the length. So anyway, I just like to do it that way because it helps me keep them the same size. So anyway, I'm gonna go right next to it and pull. And I'm just gonna go all the way around and pull in those nice petals. You can do as many petals as you want. I mean, you could really fill this space up if you want to. Originally, I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 petals. Looks like I'm already almost there. So like I said, make it as full as you want or not. And it is totally okay if you cross the dotted white dot boundary, okay? It's just a guide. See, I kind of went in just a little bit. Totally fine, not a big deal, okay? You want this line in here to be really organic and natural anyway, so if you cross those boundaries, it's not a big deal, okay? So I'm just checking across the top here to make sure that everybody is okay. Everybody looks like they're doing just fine. Wonderful. Okay, so moving right along, we're gonna move down to this bottom corner here. Actually, you guys, you might as well just go ahead and just fill that in right in there. Okay, just fill that center in. And if you do need to go back, you can always go back and paint right over any of those petals if you just want them to be a little bit darker or anything like that, okay? I might pull them in just a little bit more. Okay. All right, so now let's move on down to the bottom corner. And now once we get all 4 of our main flowers in, I'll take a break and let you guys totally catch up for a second, okay? We're just kind of moving a little bit quickly through this part. Okay, all right, so down here I have kind of a funky shaped flower. I'll show it to you before I start painting it, okay? It's kind of just opening up on one side. Okay, it's this guy right in here, okay? So how we do this is I'm going to decide where everything is going to kind of grow out of, and I'm going to go ahead and paint myself kind of an oval-y shape. Okay, something like so. Okay, coming from this part right here, from just the side that kind of points to the corner, I'm going to grow or draw out a large rounded petal like so. Okay. Then out to each side, I'm going to do 2 more little teardrops like so. And then once again, not going past like the halfway mark really, I'm going to go out to the side again on either side like so. Okay. So I'm left with something that looks kind of like that. And then what I'm going to do again is I'm just going to take my brush, same color paint, and I'm just going to fill them in. And I'm really going from my sides, oops, I'm going to go from my sides inward so that the last flower petal that I paint is actually this one right here, because I want it to look like it is laying on top of the others. Okay. Okay. So you've got something kind of like that. Okay. Then our last large flower is kind of funky. It's kind of like a fireworky flower. It kind of looks like it's bursting. It's this one right down here. Okay. So very similar. It's kind of like all of the techniques we just learned, but mooshed into one flower. So this one's kind of not totally out into the corner. It's more kind of more in this area right in here. And I'm going to find a middle, kind of wherever I want that to be. Just draw like a funky little dot just to kind of show us, okay? And what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to come out like so, and then out like so, and I'm kind of bending this, like it's kind of a rounded, kind of outward kind of petal shape. All of these are kind of almost rectangular at some point, like towards these edges here, they get a little bit rectangular. So I'm just gonna kind of go around and be kind of squarish here. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got about 8 petals in the original 2, 4, 6. I got 7 here. Okay. So however that looks for you, 7 or 8 petals is good. Okay. So I'm going to let you guys kind of catch up there for a moment. If you want to go back over any of your flowers and give them another coat, you're more than welcome to. I'm gonna leave mine. I like them. I like that the black is kind of showing through a little bit, kind of like what we talked about before, how it kind of gives it this chalkboardy feel. But we're gonna go over it anyway with another layer of paint, a little bit of a pinkier color here in a moment. So I'm gonna run across the board, across the top here, make sure that everybody's doing okay. Everybody looks good. Too, if at any time anybody wants to show their painting, you're more than welcome to. Just hold it up and we'll see how it's going for you. Janine, awesome. Beautiful background color. I love that. Really pretty. All right, you guys. Everybody's looking good. Okay. So then let's see. Let's kind of keep on moving on here. Before we go in to our other flowers, let's kind of revisit these a little bit. Now, it's totally cool if your flowers are still a little bit wet. Painting wet paint on wet paint is one of my favorite things to do. It's really fun, unless it's your background. And so that won't be an issue for you. In fact, you'll blend a little bit better. You'll get some prettier colors, but no worries if your flowers are dry. That's totally cool too. We'll work with it from there. So let me show you my palette. I'm still using my same brush. I have not washed my brush yet. I haven't wiped off any paint. I just kind of went over here and I grabbed a little bit of red and I kind of started to blend it a little bit into this color. Now you want to save some of this color. We're going to be using this color again. So save it on your palette. It's okay if it dries out, but at least you'll have the color still on your palette so you'll be able to match it again. So anyway, I'm gonna grab a little bit of white also. I wanna just make a little bit of a pinkier version of this color, okay? Your goal when you're mixing this new color, you just want something different than this color here that we just used. So just something different. It can be any shade of pink that you want. It just needs to be different. So, all right, I'm gonna kind of go with this color here. I just added a little more red and a little bit more white. I did not add any yellow. I don't want it to be a tropical pink. I want it to be more of a, I don't know, just more of a dustier kind of pink here, okay? So I'm gonna add this color to a lot of my flowers now, okay? I'm gonna start back up with this one. Oh, it just got windy out here again. A little spooky. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna take this color and I'm just gonna kind of drag my brush along the top of my flower here. I'm gonna pull you in a little bit so maybe you can see this better. So I'm just gonna pull this color in across the top and maybe around, okay? And I'm gonna kind of put it anywhere that I feel like in my flowers, not always in the same spot. You know, I just kind of want it to be kind of a random feel. You know, you just want a hint of this pink color to kind of show a little bit of contrast. A note about me when I teach too, just so you guys know, if you ever feel like I'm teaching you something too quickly, there's a chance that I'm doing that on purpose. Sometimes, like what we just did there, I don't want you to think too hard about where to put this color. Really anywhere in your petals is going to be totally fine. And sometimes when we overanalyze something, we let our brain kind of take over. Our hand can't do what it wants to do. So anyway, just if you think I'm going a little bit fast, it's probably so that I can kind of get you to just kind of jump in and do something. Just take a little bit of a chance with your painting, okay? All right, so anyway, I've just laid in a little bit of that color. All right, now this flower doesn't really have too much of that color in it, so I'm just gonna kind of skip on over him and I'm gonna come on down to here and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna take this color and just kind of smear it in on each petal anywhere I like, out of the edges a little bit. Okay, I don't know. I know that the lighting in here is not awesome. I'm so sorry about that. I wish I could make it better. The shop, it's so much brighter. So I hope you can see that, okay? Okay, so I've got those colors in there, okay? So at this point, since I've got kind of a two-tone on two of my flowers, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop this brush in my water and I'm gonna pick up my size 3 brush, okay? This is the size a little bit larger than your detail brush and smaller than the one that we were just using. All right, now I'm gonna use this brush to do just a little bit of some like smaller little detail work. So I'm gonna use this brush and I'm just gonna pick up that that pure red that we have on our palette. And I'm gonna go up to this one right up in here, this flower, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna paint right around the center here, just with little dashes. You can see that. Just little dashes. Okay. Now I'm gonna go down to my my flower down here, this like fireworky flower, and I'm gonna paint like a second layer almost. So I have a lot of paint on my brush. I mixed just a little bit of that red with that pinky color on accident, so it's not so, you know, it may not just be so bright, but I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna start on the outside and I'm gonna come inward and I'm painting another layer. Coming in, do you see how I'm doing that? Okay, just painting in another layer of flower here, petals, a different color. Going all around. Okay, so when I'm done, I have something kind of like that. Okay. Okay. Very cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just, I'm gonna wipe that brush off. I'm gonna use it again here. I'm gonna clean that brush out, and remember when you clean out your brush, you wanna get all of the water off of that metal part, okay? It's really important. So I'm still on my size 3 brush. I'm gonna show you my palette here for a second. I'm gonna mix a little bit of a yellow for the middle of my flowers, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna come over here and I'm gonna grab a little bit of white, like so. I'm gonna bring it over, maybe over here where I have a little more room, and I'm gonna pull up some yellow. I'm gonna mix it right into that white. Now my goal, I don't want like a super pastel-y white, I want a kind of a chalky, milky white, okay? Or yellow rather. All right, so I'm gonna get it in there, get it nice and mixed, okay? You can leave your paint a little bit marbled. That's always really nice because you can kind of play a game of chance. You never really know what hue you're gonna get. Okay, so when you have that, we're gonna take that, we're gonna start putting it in our flowers. So I'm gonna go up to this top flower here where we have our red marks, and I'm gonna take my size 3 brush, and I'm gonna kind of just smear my brush in the center of the flower, kind of in a circular motion. Okay, so watch how I do it, and then you can do it too. See, I'm just kind of smearing my brush, kind of dabbing it kind of around. Dabbing, I think, is a great word here because I'm not really painting a shape. I'm just pressing my brush in and I'm smearing it around, and that's creating a little bit of texture in the center of my flower. Okay, so that's kind of what that looks like there. I'm going to go over to this brush too, or this flower too, and I'm going to paint a nice big yellow circle in there, even larger than you're comfortable with. Like I'm going to go really big. The larger the center of your flower, I think the more kind of whimsical it looks, the more kind of even folky it looks. So if you're kind of going for that look with your painting, you want to kind of make your centers nice and large. Okay, so I've got that. Hey, is there any way to make the lighting in here better? Do you have any extra lights we can aim over here by chance? Okay, I'm gonna let Taylor think about that and see if we can get our lighting better. Okay, so I've got my my next flower here. Now I'm gonna take this same yellow color and I'm gonna travel down here. Oh, look, I've got another smear. That's fun. I've got paint all over my hands. All right, so I'm gonna put my yellow in right down here. And remember, this is kind of like an oval, kind of weird oval-y shape, right? Okay, something like that. Okay, then my last flower right here is this guy, and I'm gonna do that thing again where I kind of press my brush and pull up so I get a nice texture. Your reddish paint down there, it's inevitably, it's going to mix with this yellow, and that's super cool. You're gonna get a really cool kind of textured center here. Okay. Okay, so I've got something kind of like that. All right, so we've gone all the way around. Awesome. I'm not going to wash my brush. You might want to, but I am going to mix up a little bit more of this original pinky color that we did, because we're gonna go in and we're gonna draw out a few more flowers in that color. So I already have yellow and red on my brush, which are two of the colors that I need to mix this color. So I'm just gonna keep mixing. I'm gonna pull a little bit more yellow in, pull in a little bit more red, and grab some white, okay? And I'm gonna mix a little bit more of that color. It does not have to be exact, but I want it to be in that same family. So anyway, you might wanna mix a little bit more of that. Okay, if you want, this is gonna be, we're gonna start doing some smaller flowers. If you even want to, just to add a little bit more of something different, you could add more white and make it even lighter. So it's a totally different color, and we have a whole different color to use for our flowers here. Okay, so I've got that nice and mixed. I do recommend mixing your colors with a larger brush. You can mix a lot faster. I just mixed with this size 3 just for the sake of, you know, I'm right here with it. It's convenient. Okay, so here we go. So you've seen that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna draw in, I'll show you, I'm gonna draw in some of these smaller flowers that we have, like this guy right here, that guy, these down in here, and this right in here, right over here too, okay? So we're gonna travel around our canvas, and this part I might do just a little bit quick. We're only gonna be using one color, and we're just gonna lay the brush down and pull and drag in petal shapes kind of around and around, and I will walk you through what I mean by that with every flower, okay? So here we go. Let me get you right where I need you to be so you can see this with my awesome lighting here tonight. Okay, so I'm gonna start up by this flower right here, and I'm gonna do a smaller flower right out to the side of it, and I'm gonna kind of pick a point to kind of launch from and just kind of do a little dot there so that I know, and I'm gonna use this brush for its shape again, and I'm gonna pull out to the side and up and kind of create kind of a sad face, and then I'm gonna go right on the outside of it right here and do like an attached, like one side, it's like almost a parentheses, right? Okay, and then I'm gonna do 3 more petals. I'm gonna go right down the center here. Ooh, light, thank you. Hey, that's awesome. Is that better for everybody, or is that too glary? Can you see, or is that too, what do you think? That's good, is that better? It's better? Better all across the board? Okay, cool. Okay, ooh, hi. All right, so anyway, I've got 3 petals here, okay? I'm gonna pull 1 more on either side. Okay, 1, 2, 3, so I've got 5 of them, okay? Yeah, wow, everybody, that's really great lighting, good, there you go. He did go to school for film and television, so, you know, lighting is his thing, that's good. Okay, so let's move on down here. So we're gonna move right to this section. Now I can already tell this painting is gonna be different, the composition is gonna be different than my original painting, and that's gonna happen for everybody. So what we're gonna start to do is just really fit these flowers in wherever you can. It does not have to be exactly the way I'm teaching it, or even, you know, in any place that I'm teaching it. It could be anywhere you want. Just put these flowers anywhere, okay? Because I'm looking at, I think my original oval is a little bit smaller, so it looks like I have a little more room out there. All right, so here we go. So we're gonna do a similar flower to this one, but we're gonna do it right here, and we're gonna be doing it angling upward a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick a point to kind of launch from, and I'm gonna pull my brush down in the center, kind of round out that petal, and I'm gonna do 2, 4, I'm gonna do 5 petals like that. So I'm gonna go out to the side here, out to the side here, side again, and the side again. Okay, so the bottom here I have kind of a U. Okay, I'm hearing some crazy thunder out there. Fun. Okay, so I've got that one in, right? Right next to it, I'm gonna do a small version of that. And this might only be 3 or 4 petals. It'll just kind of depend on how much space you have. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of pull my brush inward. Looks like I got 4 there. I don't know how many you're gonna get, but I got about 4. Just right on next to it. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to show you this original painting. Okay, so you see this space right in here. I don't have this space on my new painting, so I'm going to have to kind of just put these pretty little flowers more down in this area. So I will show you what I mean. If you can see the difference in this painting and that painting. So you might be running into issues like this as well, okay? So I'm going to show you kind of how I problem solve something like that. I'm going to do the same flowers, but I might just either do them smaller or I might just compose them a little bit differently, okay? So it looks like we've got 5 flowers on this next little cluster here. 2 are large, 1's a medium, and 2 are smaller. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna look at this. Gosh, I might do my large one right up in this area, and it's the same as what these were. It's just you're pulling your brush inward, kind of rounded. Okay, so I got 4. I'm just gonna leave that one at a 4 petal. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do one right next to it, kind of small, just like a little brushing in like that. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna do another one. Maybe I'll come up a little bit higher and just do two little brushes that kind of makes like a little bud right there, you see? I might do another little bud kind of right down in here. And it's rolling off to the side, wrapping my canvas, which is always great. Any opportunity you have to kind of wrap your flowers around the sides of your canvas is always smart craftsmanship and kind of adds a little bit more interest to your painting. I've got to fit one more little guy in here, so I might just put a little brush stroke right there and say, hey, that's a little flower. So you see how I kind of have all those little weird shapes and clusters that I've just kind of fit in according to my new composition. Okay, so I'm gonna move right along here. I'm gonna move my my painting over here that I'm looking at. I've got a different setup than I usually do tonight, so let's see here. Okay, so I'll show you. What we're gonna be doing next is this section right over here. Okay, same color, and I do believe that I can fit these guys in. Let's see if you can too. Remember, if you can't fit them in, do something in this color over there, whether you do these flowers a lot smaller or you just do half of them or whatever it is, you want to just fit them in. Okay, so we're gonna kind of see here. We're gonna do this weird flower. It's 3 brush strokes coming down, like so. Looks like a chicken foot. And then I've got 1 brush stroke out to the side. And when I do this one, watch, I'm gonna press my brush down really kind of hard so it flattens and it widens out, okay? And you kind of make that kind of a teardrop shape. Okay. Now I'm gonna do 3 more just like that guy. But see, I did run out of room, so I'm gonna problem solve here. And I'm gonna do my 3 right here. 1, 2, 3, okay? Now these are all gonna be coming to the same stem. So that's something you wanna think about when you're putting in these flowers is this guy, and these 3. I'm gonna be drawing in a stem that's gonna kind of come out this way, and they're all gonna join. So when you put in these 5, kind of make sure that they're kind of clustered together, okay? Okay. So that is, looks like that's kind of it for this, this color. I'm not gonna wash my brush. I'm actually just gonna go right on in, and I'll show you my palette. I'm just gonna go right into this, this pinky color that we had mixed before, but I'm gonna pull in some more red. I want it to be like a nice dark color here, a nice dark rich red. I'm gonna roll my brush around in that. All right, here we go. Get you back up here. Now I'm gonna go back up to the top again. And I'm gonna take this color and I'm gonna come right to the base of my flower and I'm gonna come outward on both sides. And I'm gonna kind of just bring it up a little bit. Ooh, there's some thunder. I don't know if you guys hear that. My kids just screamed. It's always fun having a storm at our house. So anyway, did you kind of see I kind of cupped the flower with that color? Okay. Oh, real quick, I just spotted 1 more flower in that color. I'm just gonna take my brush. I'm gonna wipe off this color on my paper towel, and I'm just gonna jump right into that, that kind of flamingo-y pink color that we started with, and I'm gonna put in 1 more flower right here, and it's just kind of a rounded blob. Lots of our flowers are just blobs right now. Okay, and then I just wipe that color off on my paper towel and I jump right back into that pretty dark color that we had. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over to this flower right here, and I'm gonna go all the way around, and I'm gonna go in kind of a quick, kind of sketchy type of motion. Okay, I'm gonna start from the center and I'm gonna be pulling outward. So I'm gonna pick a spot to start. So I'm gonna start right here on the edge of my yellow, and I'm gonna pull out. Just like so. I'm going around, I'm going kind of quick because I want that kind of dashy feel. Okay. I've got enough paint on my brush to get me all the way around. I've gotten all the way around, okay? So I've got something that's kind of like that when I'm done. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna jump down to this nice big flower that we have here. I'm just gonna do a couple of dashes coming out of that yellow part, not as much as this one right here, but just a couple here and there. Okay, just kind of pulling out like that. Okay, so I got something like that. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give everybody a breather for a second. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys kind of catch up. Work on these flowers. If you want to go back over any of these with another layer of paint, now is a great time to do that. We're not going to be touching the flowers that we just did again, except on a couple of them to add stems. So if you want to fix up any of them, now is a good time to do that. I'm going to check across the board to make sure that everybody's okay. Everybody looks like they're okay. So let me know if you have any questions about this part. We're doing great on time. It's 8 o'clock. I haven't lost internet. Fantastic. Looks like everybody else is going strong with their internet connection too, so that's great. I'm still recording. I can check all my boxes. This is awesome. Cool. All right, you guys. Well, it looks like everybody is doing okay. Looks like some of us have little helpers tonight. I might have some little helpers soon, actually. We'll see. All right, you guys. So if everybody is okay, I'm gonna move us on to the next part of our painting. I'm just gonna look right across the board. Misty, that reminds me, I still have a brush for you at the shop if you need it. Let me unmute you if you're talking to me. Hang on. Okay. Yeah.
All of the loose bristles came out last time because it was fine tonight.
Awesome. So you don't have any more loose bristles? They ran their course last time. Okay. Awesome. Cool. You're welcome. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened. That is really annoying. Okay. All right, you guys. So right now we're looking at something like this. Now, like I said, everybody's composition is going to be a little bit different, okay? I don't have much on my side here. I have a little bit more going on this side, although in my original painting, at this point, I was kind of emptier on both sides, okay? But here is our original painting. Our top part up here is about to get filled in on these sides, okay? Hey, would you mind closing that door? Okay, so let's see here. Another cool thing to remember about this painting is that actually when I did it originally, I think I had painted it like this, upside down. Totally upside down. And then I ended up turning it like this and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. But then when I got it like this, I was like, oh man, that's the composition I like. For some reason, the weight of the flowers just worked. So every once in a while, you might want to flip your canvas and paint on it a different way. It might surprise you the life that can bring to it. Changes that happen that you didn't even know could happen. Okay, because like I said, I painted that totally upside down and then I ended up switching it. So, okay. So let me look at mine for a second here. I guess we're this way. All right, so let me look. Let's see. Let's go ahead and add in some greenery. Let's take a little break from flowers and add in a little bit of greenery. Nice. And then we can kind of go around and add in a couple of little flowers and dots and things as we go. Because I feel like we're getting a little bit crowded here and I want to get some of that greenery in before we get too crazy. So I'm going to go back to my size 3 brush. I'm washing it right now in my water. When I wash my brush, I like to get it down to the very bottom of the jar and kind of swish it around so I can feel it touching the bottom. Tap off that water, and then you want to take it in your paper towel and pull out any excess water that are in the bristles, and especially, like I said, get it off of that metal part of your brush, okay? You really want to get that nice and clean. You don't want any water on there, okay? I'm going to show you my palette here for a second. So I'm going to mix just like a very kind of a softer green. This green normally is just very transparent right out of the bottle. So I'm going to grab a little bit of white here, and I'm going to pull it on over to my green right in the corner here. Now I'm not mixing this white in my green really necessarily to make it much lighter than it already is. I'm really just working to make it a little bit more opaque. Like I mentioned before, anytime you add a little bit of white to this paint, to any color, it just makes it a little bit more opaque. So that's what we're kind of going for. Okay, you don't want a super light green. You just want it to be opaque enough and chalky enough to work on this black background. Okay, so I've got that. One thing, when you mix with the color too, I'm going to show you this. I know I've shown you this before, but some of you are new for me tonight. I'm going to take my brush that I just mixed with, and I'm going to roll it on the side of my palette. You can see my fingers. I'm just rolling it like so. And this is going to kind of roll and pull, and what that's going to do is kind of get off all the gunks off of my brush and kind of leave me with a nice point that I can kind of go back and I can get a little ball of paint on there. That's just going to help you when you're drawing a little bit better craftsmanship when you're trying to get some of these leaf shapes, okay? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a stem coming out from this big flower over here, and the stem is going to come out and it's going to kind of angle upwards, and we're going to need enough room for a couple of little leaves on that stem. Okay, so here I am with my brush, my size 3. I'm going to press lightly. Now I know a lot of you have heard me talk about this before, but it matters a lot how much pressure you apply to your canvas. Okay, so if you're heavy-handed, you want to try to be light-handed when you're drawing marks like this. If you are normally light-handed, then this is going to be a little bit easy for you, okay? If you find that you're drawing marks that are too bold, switch down to your detail brush. Nothing wrong with that. And if at any time I'm teaching with a brush that you're not comfortable with, just switch to a different brush, okay, to get the mark that you need. Anyway, here we go. So I'm going to draw a very small line here. I'm applying a little bit of pressure, and I'm kind of coming right in, and I'm going to kind of scoop upward. Okay, scooping upward, something like that. Okay, now remember, this is going to be different for everybody. Everybody's going to have a slightly different composition. Okay, so I'm up in that area here. Now I'm going to draw in a little leaf, and the way I'm going to do these leaves are kind of like curvy leaves. So my top leaf line is going to I'm going to like jump off of my stem and kind of swing out. And then I'm going to come back at the bottom of that leaf, and I'm just going to swoop up and meet that. So my top is a swoop up. It's like a little hill and going up another hill there, but my bottom is really just starting at that base of that leaf and scooping upward. Okay, so I have a shape kind of like that. I'm going to do another one of those leaves here down at the bottom. Okay, like so. But then I have two little swoopy leaves kind of on either side here. They're just kind of leaning out. They're just kind of a brush stroke that just kind of comes out like so. Okay. Ooh, there's some crazy lightning. Oh man, my kids are gonna get excited here soon. Okay. All right, guys, so let's move on over. We're gonna move across our canvas upwards this way to this flower right here. I'm gonna keep using the same leaf color that we've got, this pretty green. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, so this guy, he's just coming out kind of more straighter, kind of coming up towards this corner. And this little guy is attached. So however you need to make him attached, whether it's a curve or a straight line, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now there's a couple of leaves on this too, and they're not fancy leaves. I'm just gonna use my brush to kind of make a print, or you can even pull out a little bit. They're like two little parentheses that meet and touch. And I'm gonna go back and forth kind of down this stem. You can go 3 or 4 times, it doesn't really matter. There's gonna be more flowers up in this spot, okay? And then if you have room on this little stem that joins this flower, I do not on this painting, but you can add, I might try to fit one little guy in there. You can add some little leaves on that stem as well. Okay. All right. We're gonna jump down to these guys right here. Okay. They're right above this big flower. They're right down here. So we're doing nothing with this one right now. Actually, we're doing nothing with that one. There aren't any leaves or anything like that for him. Okay, so this guy, so what I do with flowers like this is I just sort of hug them with leaves. So I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna press right at the bottom here and pull inward on both sides. So it's sort of just cupping that, that flower there. I'm gonna do that on my little one too, sort of cupping it, okay? Get that guy right there, okay. Okay, so now these guys actually are, they're on the same stem. So I'll show you my original painting. Now, if you have room to do this, do it. I do not. But you can see these guys right here, they kind of swoop downward, okay, and attach. So it's just like a slight happy face coming out of the big one, and then the little one just kind of joins on there. Okay, I don't have room. I've got to figure that out. I don't quite have room to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I might just kind of, you know, draw like a little stem kind of coming out from him, but he's going behind that leaf. I don't know what he's doing for you. But then I'll just bring my stem down and I'll just kind of let it go behind that leaf as well. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with those guys, and that's just how we kind of problem solve as we go. Okay. Now we're gonna go down to this little cluster down here. Okay, so in the original painting, it looked like this. It was all kind of had a little more space. It was all together out here, right? Okay, and so they all kind of join the same stem. Now, you know, mine, I had to move down to the bottom here and kind of really figure out how to fit it in there. So it may not all join to the same stem. It might, we'll see what happens, right? So I'm just gonna kind of look at it for a second. It looks like I could probably make some kind of a curving stem, kind of gonna come up and outward like so. And I can join all of my flowers at some point, kind of like so. Okay. So you just wanna draw one main stem and then try to grab your other flowers as you go down. Okay, now all of these flowers have those little hugs as well. So I'm just gonna take my brush and go on the bottom of each flower and just give it a little leaf hug. Okay, a little cup. Okay. Cool, now we've got one more section of flowers to add a stem to, and it's this guy right over here, this little grouping of 5 small ones. So same thing, I'm gonna use this green that we've been using, and I'm gonna have a light hand, and I'm gonna draw coming from the top down just because it's easier for me at this angle. So I'm gonna take my stem starting from right here, and I'm gonna circle, well not circle, but I'm gonna angle down like so to that guy. All right, and then I'm gonna attach all of my other flowers with just a slight curve. Okay, so I'm coming in like that. Okay, so all of them are attached. Now this top flower here that has like a little chicken foot, it's like the little 3 flowers, it's just got like a little bit of a green cap to it. If you want to cap your other flowers, you can. I didn't on the original painting, but I did add a couple of little leaves. So I'm gonna add a couple little leaves here, maybe there, just kind of around, okay? Wherever you can fit them. Okay. I'm gonna turn on my fan here for a second. It's getting warm in here. Hang on. Okay. All right, you guys, we're moving right along. So let's see, I think I still like my painting like this. So at this point, if you want to go back and do a second layer of green on any of your leaves, you're more than welcome to. I'm gonna angle this down so you can see kind of what I do. Like for this guy, I'm just gonna kind of take my brush and just kind of dab that green. I'm not filling in the entire shape. I'm just gonna kind of touch it here and there, okay? And that just adds a little bit of dimension. I'm not really gonna worry too much about these guys down here. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I'm gonna take a look at our original painting. I think now would be probably a good time to add in some of our sweet little yellow flowers that we have. And I'm gonna continue using my size 3 brush. So go ahead and wash that. You wanna get it in your water, get all the green out because we're gonna be using yellow next. And we really want a nice clean brush for that. Okay, so same idea, wipe it between your paper towel and get all the water off of that metal part. Okay, so let me show you the original. So we're gonna start working on these little yellow flowers here. These guys go really fast, okay? They're very easy to do, okay? So we'll get those in really quickly. There's so many cool little elements to this painting. So I'm gonna use the same yellow that I used for the center of our large flowers. It's just that kind of, that milky yellow. Okay, so it's just white and yellow mixed together. I already have some of that on my palette, but if you need to mix that real quick, go for it. Okay, so I'm gonna start right up in this area here. And I'm gonna say again, like in my original painting, these flowers are in slightly different places. So start putting these flowers in your empty spaces. So like, for example, if I put 3 little yellow flowers right here, but you don't have space right here, you have more space right down here, just put them right down here or even over here, okay? We're just gonna start traveling around and I just want you to start filling in the spaces that, that make sense for your painting, okay? You don't have to put them exactly where I'm telling you. And it's okay too if you cross your white dot boundary a little bit too, because we want that line to be, it's just a protection, you know, for this blank area in the middle, okay? So it's not a big deal if you cross over. All right, so these flowers are super easy. Let me figure out where I'm gonna put mine here. All you're gonna do is you're gonna give yourself 5 little round dots, little round petals that kind of just go around in a circle. So if you want to, you can give yourself a central dot, and then I just kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's okay if you overlap. Like I touched on my big flower. It's okay if you overlap, you don't have to. And you can do these in 3 different sizes if you want to. I'm going to do 3 different sizes. And if they're too round for you, if you want them to be more, you can use your brush to create a petal shape as well, just by kind of placing your brush down and pulling inward. You can get a whole different flower. Look at the difference in my flowers. Besides size, you can see shape. So that's a different kind of flower you can do if those other ones are kind of just too round for you. And I'm gonna do 3, so I'm gonna do 1 more right here. And it's a little bit smaller. That's just what works for me, okay? Okay, I'm gonna jump on down to this guy right here, and right above it, right in here, I'm gonna fit 2 more. Okay, 1 there, and maybe I'll do 1 right here. Okay, notice how quickly I just take the paint and I press it to the canvas. They're messy, you know, they're nature, right? Okay, so I'm gonna kind of come right down to this guy, right in here, right where he opens up. That's where I'm gonna do my 3 flowers again. Okay, there's 1, I'm gonna do 1 to the side here. Okay, I'm gonna do another 1 out this way. And especially with the yellow, you will see that it is very transparent, and you can see that chalkboardy background if you have a black background. All right, we've got 1 more cluster of these yellow flowers, and it's up on this side of our canvas. Finally, we're starting to put something in over here. I'm gonna do 3, I'm gonna do 1 here. And then I'm gonna do 1 here, kind of coming in a little bit. Okay, and 1 right in here. Okay. All right, if you want, you can go back again and you can put in another layer just by touching them real quick, just going around. You don't have to, but you can, okay? So while I still have this yellow on my brush, I'm gonna grab a little bit of white and I'm just gonna make a slightly lighter yellow, okay? I want this yellow to be a pastel. And I'm gonna put in these little, they're like little tulips maybe, okay? So I have, let's see, 2 sections of these and all they are is just a pull from the paintbrush. I'm gonna put the brush on the canvas and pull it just slightly to give myself this rounded tulip shape, and they're both in groups of 5, like one's in a group of 5, one's in a group of 6. So here we go. I'm gonna put them right in this area and I'm just gonna pull. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're just little pulls right in a little group, okay? I'm gonna come on down over here in this area, maybe right up in here, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do 1, that's a big one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they're right over here now. Okay. All right, so now while I have this yellow on my brush, I'm gonna show you my palette. I'm not gonna wash it. I'm just gonna grab a tiny bit of this flamingo-y pink, just a little bit of it, and I'm gonna bring it over to this light yellow. So now I've made just like almost a slight orange. Oh, wow. Okay, so our storm is really crazy here right now, and my husband just came in and he said that I have to go see what it looks like outside, and I cannot resist looking at a really cool storm. So I'm gonna pause for just a quick second because the sky is like red and rainbow and stuff. So I'm gonna go look real quick and I'll be right back. So this will give you guys a moment to kind of catch up. Sorry, I just love stuff like this. But here's the painting for you to look at real quick. I'm gonna go check out the storm. I hope you do too. I'll be right back. Thanks for sharing that with me. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm back. If you have a chance and you're in the middle of this storm, go outside right now. It is magical. It's beautiful. The whole sky is red and orange, and the clouds are coming through all crazy and stuff. So anyway, it's like the colors of our painting tonight, actually. It's pretty cool. All right, so that was great inspiration. All right, so back at it. So where was I? I was mixing a little bit of that flamingo pink color into my yellow here. So I just have like a slightly orangey yellow, really. Okay, it's not pink, it's definitely still in the yellow family. But I'm gonna use this color now to make these weird made up flowers that I just thought were kind of cool and whimsical, okay? So I'm gonna add them. They're in groups of, let's see, I have 2 groups of them, ones in 3s and ones in 2s. So fit whatever you can. I'm gonna fit these right in this area right here, and they're gonna be coming downward. So what they're gonna be is parentheses that touch, and then there's 3 little guys that come out the end of them. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, like that. And I'm gonna put the 3 of them together. 1, 2, 3, and maybe one more back that way. Okay, something like that. And I'm gonna do 2 of them over here. Let's see, I'm gonna put 1 here, a little bit bigger, and 1 here, like so, okay? Hang on a second, I'm gonna close my door. Okay. All All right, guys, so let's see, we're gonna jump into some tiny little star flowers real quick, but we're gonna keep on using this color. I'm gonna throw in a little bit more of that flamingo pink into my yellow, that color we were just using. So really you can kind of tell every time you go back to your palette, you just want a slightly different color. We're staying in this same warm color palette, but you know, slightly just different variations of the same color. I'm gonna go up to this corner right here. Okay, so where my kind of sunflower-esque flower is, right up in this corner, I'm gonna fill it in with, looks like I have 6 of these flowers. Fit as many as you want to here. Remember that there are gonna be a couple of little leaves in this section as well, and dots. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna pull in 5 times to create kind of a star. You see that? Okay, I'm gonna do that a couple of times up in here just to create these little star flowers. Filling in that space, going right on over that. Okay, something like that. I'm gonna do the same thing down here on the opposite side of my canvas by these little tulips. Now, in my original painting, I had them more back here. So I might be able to still fit some of them there. But it looks like I have a lot of space here, and I'm really tempted to put them here, but I do have some leaves and some other colored dots that I am gonna fill in there. So I'll move them a little bit more over here, but I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of them in down here. Now the cool thing about anything that I am teaching you tonight is when we get all done with this and you have a spot that's just blank, you can pick any one of these flowers to fill it in with, okay? The other thing too is if you just don't like a certain flower, wait for it to dry completely and then take your black paint and paint right over it and put in a flower that you do like, that you do enjoy painting. Make this your own painting, your own garden, however you want it to be, okay? So that's gonna be it for our flowers. Painting on our flowers at least. The rest of our filler, believe it or not, is different kinds of dots and different kinds of leaves. And I have some red dots that look like flowers, so maybe we'll do those next. I do want to add, let's add a little bit of a darker pink color to our these crazy little guys here that have this little 3 little thing coming off. I'm just going to add a little bit of a dark color to the base of them. Okay, like so. And over here as well. Okay, I'm going to add that. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take this color again. This is just, I have a little bit of red mixed with my flamingo-y pink. I'm just going to take this color too, and I'm going to go ahead and dot the center of all of my star flowers. Okay, there and here. Those are going to be my centers. And I'm going to go ahead into my little yellow flowers as well. And I'm going to give those my centers, nice little red centers. So I'm just pressing my brush into the center of the flower. I'm not making a circle. I'm just making a smear. Okay, pressing right in there, making a little mark. Okay. And there we are. There we have it. Okay. So now all of our flowers should have centers, and they do. Good job. All right. So if at any point you want to go back over any of your flowers and add another layer, you are more than welcome to. I'm done teaching you about the flower part of it. So if there's any flower that you want to add another layer to or another color to or whatever, by all means, like I said in the beginning of this, there are so many layers that you can add to this painting. You can really just keep going. So anyway, you can do that. Hang on, I have a message coming through about the storm. I just want to look at it real quick. Okay, cool. Okay, everything is okay. That storm really did get crazy there for a minute. It was really cool. Okay, so how is everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing okay. If you want to show me your painting, you're more than welcome to. We're doing great on time. That's great. Oh man, they're so pretty. Y'all, these are turning out wonderful. Wonderful. I love it. Very cool. It's very cool to scroll across the top here and see all of these flowers growing. Very cool, you guys. Beautiful work. I love how we're all painting the exact same thing, yet everything is coming out totally different for everybody. I just love that about these classes. All right, we're on the home stretch, okay? So let's go ahead and wash this brush. We're gonna keep using it though. We're gonna use it for our greenery. This next greenery part does go really quick. It's fun to do, I enjoy it. So let me show you my palette here real quick. We're gonna do a little bit of color mixing to get some different shades of green here. Here's my green, here's the green that I have a little bit of white mixed into. I'm actually gonna grab a little bit of blue and I'm gonna mix it in to this green here. I'm not mixing the blue in to get a turquoise. I'm mixing it in to make it a little bit richer and darker. So if your green starts getting too blue, you want to add more green to it, okay? We really want a green. But this blue, it makes more of a tropical looking green. And I love this green with this flamingo pink color. I think it's really pretty together. So I like to use it a lot, okay? So that's what I did. I just added a little bit of blue to my green and white that I already had on my palette, okay? And I'm gonna roll my brush again. Okay, here we go. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna add some leaves that are just kind of floating and random over to the side here, right over here. And like I said, you're gonna wanna put these wherever you have space. So I happen to have a lot of space right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna have a launching point here and I'm gonna pull down and long. So this leaf is kind of wide in the middle and it comes to a point. And I'm gonna do two of those. One is a little bit bigger than the other. Okay, like so. And something like that. Okay, I'm gonna do that on the other side of my painting. I'm gonna do it right over here, but I'm gonna do it right on this part. I'm gonna bring it out a little bit here. If you have the room for it, add it. If you don't, that's okay. You can leave it out. I'm gonna fit it in right there. Something like that, right? Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this green and I'm gonna jump up to the top part of my painting. Now we're just doing filler, okay? So find a spot up in this area, like I'm gonna work in right here where you have space. Okay, so I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna press it down. Watch how quickly I'm doing this. I'm just filling in this space, okay? So all I did was little brush strokes. I'm even gonna kind of come up a little bit up into this area. You don't have to, but I am, okay? I'm gonna do that same thing down here at the bottom of my painting, kind of up in this area here. Okay, even wrap it around the side of your canvas if you want to. And the last place I'm gonna do that is over on the side over here. And I'm just gonna do a couple of them. Okay, like so. Now you wanna leave a little bit of space right by your tulips. I know you can't tell that they're tulips yet, but we're gonna add some stems coming off this side, okay? So leave a little space for them there. Okay. All right, so go ahead and you can just wipe off this color on your paper towel, and we're gonna jump in. It doesn't matter that you have a little bit of this green on your palette, or I'm sorry, on your paintbrush, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take a little bit of white. I'm gonna bring it over to my green here. I'm gonna grab a little bit of yellow even, and I'm gonna mix more of a limier green. So I've got white, green, and yellow. Nice rich color. Roll my brush, pull it away. So I'm gonna do my tulip stems and my tulip leaves. Let's see, and the tulips are right over here. They're these little yellow guys that we have. Okay, so you're gonna wanna have a really nice light hand. In fact, you know what? you might even want to jump down to your detail brush. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna jump down to my detail real quick because this line is so very fine, okay? So I'm gonna take one of my tulips and I'm gonna sweep the stem down like so, kind of a curve. And I want all of my tulip stems to join at some point. So the ones up here, they're just gonna kind of meet back behind, okay? Once I have them all meeting one central area, I'm gonna jump upward and outward with a nice big bold leaf, like so. And then do another one right next to it, a little bit smaller. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna do that, the same thing on the other side, right over here where I have my tulips, only this is kind of upside down. If you want to pull them downward, you can, but mine go upward. So I'm gonna do that again, just like I did on the other side. It's probably because I switched my painting when I was done with it. So I guess originally I painted these right side up. That's fun. All right, and I'm gonna sweep outward. My leaf is gonna roll off the sides. Here's my nut. Okay, something like that. So now, so you can see, I'm really just trying to fit these leaves in wherever they're gonna fit. I just want them to fit. Okay, that's the name of the game here. All right, so I'm gonna keep on using this green. And I'm gonna come up to the top of my painting up here, and I'm gonna do some little wispy guys. They look like little chicken feet. There's just 3 little leaves that come out from one central point. And you can just start adding these in really kind of wherever you want. I'm gonna add 3 or 5 or let's see, 4 of them kind of up here. So they just go 1, 2, 3. Let me do one in an area that you can really see. 2, 3. I'll do some right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I might do a couple, let's see, 1, 2, 3, just kind of like so. Okay, it's just filler. I'm just filling in space. While I'm up here, I'm going to add a little leaf to each one of these flowers just by pulling my brush down next to it. Okay, since I did that there, I'm going to go find my star flowers on the other side and add their little leaves too. It's literally just pressing your brush down and pulling over to the side here. Okay, while I'm down here by my star flowers giving them leaves, out to the side, right in this pretty area right here, I do more of those little wispy guys. So this is an easier place to show you them. I'm gonna wisp out, out, and straight up. Out, out, straight up. Okay. I'm just gonna fill in that area. They can kind of all turn different ways. Doesn't really matter. Okay. I think, let's see, I've got a couple more of those guys down in here too. Okay, wispies, the chicken feet wispies. Just fitting them in this space down here, however they will fit, however it's gonna work. Like I said, it's gonna be different for everybody. I might even come up a little bit in this area. All right, let me look around. I have a couple more of those little guys actually. I thought that was it, but I have a couple more right over here. Okay. Okay. So if you like these, add them wherever you want. Okay. The next little leafy guy that we're gonna do, let's see here. Okay, before we get rid of this color, this is a good time. Go ahead and go back over all of your jungly blue-green leaves that we did and just give them a little dot in there. So I'm just taking my brush and I'm just pressing down like so. I'm just adding a little bit of contrast. Okay. I think I have some more over here too. Okay. Awesome. I'm looking around. Okay, so We've got some stems. Okay, we've got stems in one more place. I thought we had all of our stems done, but we don't. Can you close that door, please? Thanks. So I'm gonna pull down from these little crazy trumpet guys here. And I'm gonna go out to either side if you can fit little leaves in there, okay? And then that one goes right into those big leaves, so I may not have any room for him. Over here, I'll have more space. I can give him my little guy there. I'm gonna go out to either side, kind of mirroring back and forth, just little leaves that kind of press on either side there. I know there's a lot of little details to this painting, I know. And so these guys all have stems also, and they don't connect. They can all just kind of go their own way. Mine are going behind this sunflower, but yours might be right there, and that's totally great. In the original painting, that mine are all right there, okay? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wash that brush. Get the water out. Let's see, we've got a few little red dots to do, and we've got a few little blue dots to do. And then, believe it or not, the rest of our dotting is all white. So that is super cool. There is one more leafy technique I'm seeing here. They're just kind of popping out of nowhere, man. Okay, so since you have a nice clean brush, we're gonna go back into our green. Sorry about that. You can go into any green you want at this point. You know, you have a couple of greens on your palette, so just pick a green that you like working with. I'm gonna work with our, I'm gonna pull some of our normal unmixed green into our kind of our limey green and make a different green. So I'm gonna use my detail brush. I'm gonna come down to this corner here. Now these are just gonna be little V's, okay? So I've got a smear here. I'm gonna either turn into a flower, I'm gonna cover, but they're just little V's. See how I'm doing that? It's just a V. And they're all going in one direction. They're all kind of heading towards this corner here. Okay, I'm just gonna fill this corner with V's. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna do some of those there. I'm gonna do a couple over here. Just filling in space. You put these wherever you want, wherever you've got space. I'm trying to look, I feel like I saw them somewhere else. Maybe I didn't. It's crazy. So look at your painting and just kind of decide. It should really start being nice and full. I might put some right up in here. I have a lot of space. So right in this area, we're gonna be doing some red dots. Right in this area, maybe for me, it'll be up in this area. Or here, we're gonna be doing a little bit of red dots. We've got some blue dots, blue, blue, blue. So it really is, it is filling out nicely. So I hope yours is filling out too. One thing you can do if we get through, you know, me teaching all of these different little doodads, just take a step back at your painting and look and see if you have anywhere that you need to fill in, and just fill it in kind of with whatever you like. All right, so for real this time, I'm gonna wash my brush and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get some of that kind of powdery red. So I wanna take a little bit of white, if you don't already have this mixed, white to your red. And now we want a really strong color. So you don't want to mix to the point where your red is getting lighter necessarily. You just want it to be more opaque. So I still have a really nice, strong, bold red. And all I'm gonna do is come right on over here and I'm just gonna make some dots. I'm just swirling my brush, and now I'm making different size dots. Some are small, some are big, but they are all clustered together and they are all kind of filling out this little area here, okay? So I have something that's gonna kind of look like that, okay? Right in that area there. I'm gonna go across my canvas, because I want balance, right? I'm gonna come across my canvas. I'm gonna come right, let's see, into this section right here. It might be a slightly different area for you. I'm gonna do the same thing. Gonna make some dots. All different sizes. Filling out this spot. Okay. Okay. I've got, let's see, I've got a third spot for these dots because red is a pretty loud color and you want to really balance it. So I'm going to put them down here. Okay. See how my areas are really starting to just kind of fill? They're just starting to fill in. All right, so that's it for my red dots. I'm gonna wash my brush. Now we've got blue dots, and then we're gonna do our white dots, and then we're done until we do our wording. Okay. So I'm just gonna take white, and I'm gonna mix a tiny little bit of blue. I'll show you on my palette here. I'm gonna take white and just a little bit of blue because I want like a very powdery blue. In fact, I might even just grab some blue and bring it over to my white. That'll make it a little bit safer. Okay, so see how that's very, very powdery. That's what I want. We don't need much of it. I'm just gonna wipe the gobs off of it, on my paper towel here. All right, I'm gonna go in for this color. All right, let's see here. Blue dots. Okay, I'm gonna fill in some blue dots right up in this area here. So I'm just gonna press them down, and they're very similar to, you know, the red dots. All different sizes, all different shapes. Now my blue looks very, very light, and I want it to be a little bit darker because I want the white dots to be different than my blue dots. So I'm gonna add a little bit more blue to my color. And you can be the judge. You can decide, you know, if you feel like you need yours to be bluer. Could just be the lighting in this room also is kind of off. So, okay. Anyway, that's better. Okay. And those dots. I'm gonna leave a lot of this space kind of for some white dots, or I might even go back because it's kind of a big spot. I might even go back and put in some kind of a green leafy thing here. So that might be happening to you too. You might have some areas where you want to add some more green. I'm gonna put some blue dots over here. These are more like presses, blue presses. Just pressing my brush down and kind of pulling all down into this area maybe even, or back over here. You know, I'm really just kind of making this up as I go at this point, just filling them in wherever, right? Okay, I'm gonna go upward, up the side of my canvas up into this area now, and I'm gonna press in, let's see, all just in this area, just some little blue marks. Okay. Oop, that's too much paint. It's crazy lightning storm. That was a good one out there. I don't know if y'all saw that or not. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go up to the top part up here. Do some more up in here. Okay. Down in this area. And then let's see, the last spot, oh, I lied, I have two more spots I did. I have some up in this area here, okay? But in my painting, I don't really have much area here, so I might just put some right back here because I do have space back here. So somewhere over here, wherever you have space, you might want to add a couple. And then I have some right down in this area, right over here by the tulips too. This is a good time too if you want to carry off to the side, wrap around your canvas. That's always a fun thing to do also. Put them right up in here. I love doing stuff like this towards the end of a painting is just kind of filling in and kind of going around and seeing where things fit best. You can just kind of keep going and going and going, right? All right, everybody doing okay? I know there's lots of details to this, lots of little parts. Looks like everybody's doing okay, working hard. All right, you guys, so that was it for the blue dots. I'm gonna look around at my original painting. We've covered all the different techniques, okay, except for the white dots. Now, what I'm gonna have you do is take a look at your painting and see if there are any spaces that you do want to fill in. So like, for example, on mine, I have this space over here that hasn't had anything put in it. So I might put like some little green leaves or something like that over in this area. I will tell you, this area up here, on the original painting, it just has white dots. So if you want to leave that area blank, that's okay. Down in this spot too, lots of little white dots. There are a couple of little green guys. So my green guys are down here. They do carry a little bit further over this direction. I'm gonna leave it there though. I'm just gonna let that area be white dots. You might do the same as well. And so over in here too, there is, I think this is the original part that I told you. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just put something kind of green over here. So take a look at your painting and see if there's an area that needs some attention or just something, you know, and put in a couple of little whatever you want. I'm gonna do those little three guys, those little wispy guys over here, just to fill that in real quick. Down here. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay. So at this point, it is totally cool if your canvas is looking a little